Now looking back on it, how did you make it through that? How did you have what it took? How did you have the persistence? And what kind of advice would you give to other people who are aspiring small business owners or people who are in the cubicle farm looking to take the leap and they're afraid to put all their eggs in one basket? I mean, what did you have a plan for what would have happened to you? How did you get through that period of time? And what sort of advice would you give people who are in that situation you were back in February and March?
Sure. Actually, it goes back a lot further than that. And I would have to say, number one, everyone that you meet, there's a reason for it. Everything happens for a reason. And take the things that are happening and going forward, and it comes back, it was in Steve Jobs' commencement speech too at Stanford, looking back, you can always connect the dots, but looking forward, you can't. And, but looking back, I quit my day job in August, and a week later, I went to a conference in Chicago, and that's where I met David Adler, who is the CEO of BizBash, which was the conference that we went to. And it turns out he was the one that sent me an email 2 days after I read the Lisa Barone post and said, can you come to New York in a week? We can't pay you, but we'll pay your travel expenses. And it turns out that conference that I was speaking at for the event planner industry was only a few blocks away from the Hashable office, and that's how I came here to meet them before South by Southwest, which was critical, and to have that meeting where they said they were looking for that community manager. So it went all the way back to August. But looking, at the time, I had no idea. I just, hey, this is a great guy to know. I met him at this conference. We had like this little tweet up that wasn't very well promoted, but it worked for me. And so I think that my biggest thing that I've learned out of all of this, and the best advice that I can give people, is pay attention to the people that are around you. And you don't always know going forward, like what those interactions are going to lead into. But looking backwards, man, it was so careful. It seemed like it was so carefully orchestrated from almost the day that I left my job. And at that point, I was still thinking, hey, MKE Live is really where I want to be. This is what I'm going for. And I would never have thought, even in January, when I was thinking about this whole next year, I really wasn't even considering it. It took to almost South by Southwest before I really realized, I think this is really what I want to do. It took all my best skills and my best assets and rolled them up into one position that just seemed like a fit. And again, it doesn't mean that I'm never going to be an entrepreneur again. It just means that this is the best place for me to be right now. And I'm, again, looking at who can I meet here? What interactions am I having? What connections can I make? And continue to grow. And now it's my turn again to continue to give back to the community.